Hello guys, welcome back to a new session of Dynamics CRM. Today I'm going to talk about not so my favorite topic, but it is a feature in Dynamics CRM 2013 SP1 called routing rules. So it is a useful feature for sure, but still not my favorite. I think in my personal opinion, it has a long way to go before it becomes something more useful. But nevertheless, it's a good feature to know, and I'm going to discuss about it. Before I go and dig deep into this particular part of CRM feature, I have a small prerequisite from my audience. The audience who wants to make use of this video should have understanding of Dynamics CRM 2011 or above, and they should know how to do basic configuration. Okay, keeping this in mind, let's go and talk about a very simple business scenario, and I'm sure you can find matching scenarios in your respective engagements or in your business domain. So in this scenario, a customer calls in to create a ticket or a case, and when the case is created, depending on what type of case it is, for instance, it is maintenance or product related or information related, it is routed to that particular department or group or team or anything, right? Anybody which handles it, even it could be a person. Okay, simple routing rules. Okay, now to implement this, in the earlier version of Dynamics CRM, people would be writing some kind of workflows to look into certain condition and route to a particular queue or a team or a person, I mean the user. But in Dynamics CRM 2013 Service Pack 1 onwards, you have got a new thing that is called routing rules, which can help you do this thing in a much simpler way. I will say in a less technical way. Okay, if you want to give some credit to this great new feature. So essentially, what we saw in a business scenario, you can implement that using routing rules. So what you do to define the routing rule? Pretty simple actually. So what you do is that you go to service management and go and create a routing rule. Then you under that rule set, at least not rule, it's a rule set, because you create multiple conditions around that, multiple small rules around inside that. Then you go and define different set of rules in which you put certain conditions, and on that condition you route it to a queue, user, or team. Yeah? You can route it to only three directions: queue, user, or team. And then you activate the rule, and then you're good to go. I mean, you can simply go and then start using the routing. Okay, so it's pretty simple. You can see it's a very straightforward, simple, very focused feature. Could be very useful for in some of the scenarios, but again, it's not my favorite because I want to see some more maturity in this tool to serve some larger purpose for me. Okay, but nevertheless, I won't criticize any more of this feature. Go and let's see the demo. So for demo, I will go to the out-of-box instance of Dynamics CRM Online. In this instance, what I have done is that I have to match to our scenario. I have created 3 queues over here: information, maintenance, and product queue. Then what I did is that I went to service management. In service management, go to settings, service management. In that, you simply go to this routing rules, routing rule settings. Under the routing rule settings, I created this something called case routing rule. So let's open this. In this case routing rule, you can see there are certain rule items. So they are that's why I say that routing rule is actually is a rule set, because inside that you can define many other routing rules. I mean, the many other rules. So for instance, if I open the information routing rule, information rule item, you see that it says that if the subject of the case equals to information, simply route it to a information queue. So you can see here you can route it to a queue, user, or team, as I mentioned earlier. This was simple. Similarly, if I go and say look at the maintenance rule, you will find the logic difference is that if case subject equal to maintenance, go to the maintenance queue, and simple. So on. I mean, it works. So once I have defined that, all you need to do is to go and activate it. I think I have already activated it. I'll just confirm it once. So you go, okay, it's not activated, it's a draft. So I simply go and say activate it. And with this, my routing rule is now applicable. Okay. So it will have some small surprises, and we'll talk about that in our presentation. But for now, yeah, it is enabled, and let's see how it works. So I go to my case over here, and I will not create a ticket from here first. So what I will do, I will go to say activities. First, I want to create a ticket automatically, okay, through some automation. So for instance, I open this task. I'm just using some out-of-box task. Don't send. Open it, please. Okay. Then I'm using some convert to function to automatically convert this into a case. And I'm doing for a purpose. First, I want to create an automated case to show you something, and then we'll open the surprises. Okay. So let's go and select a customer for this. Okay. City Powers and Lights. Let's just select one of those subjects. Let's select maintenance, right? Maintenance is one of the conditions I have put there. Let's select it there, and then I open a new case and then mark this task as complete. So you can see a case has been created for me of subject type maintenance, and if my rules are good, I should have this routed to maintenance queue. So if I go to the maintenance queue, boom, yes, this is see evaluation plan under, that is routed to me. So my routing rule is working. Okay, so this was the example, as simple as that, right? Now let's do one more thing. I come over here and go to the cases. I create a new case, and the new case, I say this is for customer called say Coho Winery. I give it a name called, it's a product query. I select the subject as a product type, so it should be somewhere here, yeah, product type, and I save and close. Now when I do this for product query, ideally it should get routed to my, I mean, you would be expecting that it will get routed to my product, okay, product queue, but it is not, and there's a reason behind it, because the routing rule only routes those cases which are automatically created. That means that are created using some kind of automation like workflows or some kind of external app call, or like this, I converted a activity into a case. But to make this particular case route, I have to select this particular case and click on this button called apply routing rule. If I do that, and then it will come over here. If I come here, see, it is now routed. So keep in mind, this is a very important limitation, and some of the, in fact, not limitation, some of the, probably that's how it has been designed to be used. But this is something which is frustrating for me. In my experience, is that it routes automatically to only those cases which are automatically created through automation. Manual has to be manually routed by clicking on, say, apply routing rules. By the way, this rule you can apply for more than one cases. So you can select more than one cases like this, and then still click on apply routing rule. And each case, depending on what category it falls into, what rule item condition it meets, it will simply go and route to that particular. It will follow the action item defined in that. So as simple as that. It's very simple to use. Um, Again, I won't say it's very powerful, but yeah, it's simple, and yeah, it's a simple way of doing the routing job for some basic functions. Okay. Now what I will do, I will go back to my presentation, and I want to talk about some important things you should need to know if you want to make no good use of this particular feature. So demo we are done. I mean, yeah, it's a simple demo. I know nothing much to show in that. Now if I go, so let's talk about first why I love and hate both this feature. I love this feature because it is easy to use and simplified for the business users. So in many companies you will find that on the creation of the on the creation of the cases, where should it be routed. I mean, generally before this routing rule, all you could do is that simply go and create a workflow. Now for business users, workflow creation is a little challenge because you need to understand the fundamentals of entities and those events and running as a background, or I mean running as a it's a process. It is little technical. You need to know the framework, right? Now the routing rule has simplified that a bit. I won't say it has completely simplified that, but it has definitely made that easy, because now in business terms you can go and define the multiple rules and then simply activate them and can see things happening for you. Okay, that's the good part I like. So it's a good move in that direction. Probably similar to this, we need to have some kind of approval framework and those kind of things in place. We should come in future. I wish. But what is downside? The downside is that when you are managing a case, actually, if you have seen my SLA videos, you have seen that a case goes through many stages, many states, and in each stage and state, it is generally routed to one queue or another for different teams to work on, right? So if I mean, when I started exploring routing rule, I thought probably we can use routing rule to manage the case lifecycle from the routing point of view, but I found it's not easy. It's not easy for two purposes. First of all, if it is if it is a manual case, you know that it will be routed only when you go and simply say apply the rule, which again not a very user friendly experience, that every time I go and change something in the case, then I simply apply the rule to make sure that it is going to the queue or the user I want it to go. That's the first thing, which is not good. The second thing is that when you're defining multiple rules, and that I'm going to discuss in the next slide as well, but rules run from top to bottom, and whatever first condition they is match, that rule is applied and rest are ignored. Okay, so when you're defining a case life cycle from routing point of view, you have to be very, very careful to have mutually exclusive rules. So some kind of, again, that adds complexity to the whole rule set configuration, and because of these two reasons, I find that this cannot be easily used, or probably not used at all, for, I won't say not used at all, but yeah, it can't be easily used for the case lifecycle management from the routing point of view. Okay, so the other reason why I love and hate both this feature. Now there are few things which is good to remember, so that's why I'm reminding you. First of all, routing rules work on the case entity only. So you can only work on the case entity or any related entity, of course. Yeah, any case related entity like customer or contact or account, you can use that as well. I mean, you can't route them, but let me correct it. Yeah, it works on the case entity only. Now, when you're building the condition for routing the case to a queue, a user, or team, Then you can use the attributes from the case itself or attributes from any of the related entities. So you can have a condition like if my customer is a premium customer, then yeah, route it here. That kind of thing you can build. There could be only one active rule set at a time. So if you define two different rule set and you make one active, other becomes deactive. So you can't have two active at the same time. Only one will be active. Just to make sure that only that rule set is applied. As I mentioned earlier, it's one of the biggest thing which I'm not happy about is that only automated routing happens only for automated cases, not for the manual cases. Manual cases has to be manually automated, manually routed using that apply routing rule button. Finally, this when you define the rule. So let's if I go to the rule, you can see here. In the rules, I have 3 rules defined, right? Case routing rule, I have 3 rules defined. This sequence can be changed. Okay, you can if I deactivate here, you will see a button over here to change the sequence. The sequence is important for me, and why it is important, because I tell you, the rules are executed from top to down and based on first match basis. So if I'm suppose this is the rule set 1, 2, 3, 4, it will first go and check if rule 1 is applicable, 2 is applicable, 3 is applicable, 4 is applicable. It will go like that. And the moment it finds a one matching rule, for instance, suppose rule 2 matches the condition, it will simply go and execute the rule 2. It will ignore the rule 3 and 4. Okay, so it is like just like first come first basis. It is like first match first basis. Whichever rules matches first top to down, that is applied. All the below rules are ignored. So this is another thing which you should know, and if you really want to create a rule set to manage the case life cycle from routing point of view, then you should ensure that you have mutually exclusive rules items defined to avoid this kind of conflict or this kind of behavior, right? So that's it about the routing rule set. To be honest, it's a very small feature, but it's very probably it's very useful with automated case creation. So where the customers have automated case creation, this could be a very useful and easy to use feature. No doubt about that. Yeah, but I would expect it to mature a bit and to give me more arsenal to build some more sophisticated solutions and routing engines behind it. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much again for watching this video. Please keep sending your comment. It is really helpful for me to improve the content and quality of the videos. Please subscribe to my channel, and thank you again for watching. Thanks. Bye bye.